Hey, what's going on? If y'all are like me, you guys are super excited for the new agent releasing in Valorant called Gekko, and today we're going to be going over his abilities, um, kind of talking about where we feel he's going to be at and how useful the character might be, right? So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is his ability Mosh Pit, right? I don't really know if I could even consider this like a molly or anything like that because it's not like you throw it down and it has like a consistent damage that's being done to you like Phoenix's molly, Brim's molly, KJ's molly. Like it doesn't have where as soon as it is on the floor, it's hitting you for damage, right, or being activated. I would honestly treat this more kind of like Breach's charge that he puts on the wall and it goes through the walls, right? I'm not sure the exact name for it, but honestly, that's what I would compare it to, but it's on the floor. I'm not sure exactly how high it goes and things like that. I'm assuming it's not too high. It's probably like a kind of sphere kind of shaped and things like that. But it's probably not too high. But here's the ability real quick. We'll take a look at it. So basically, there's a little orb that's on the floor, right? You walk into it, and from what I've heard, as you can see, there's two shades of green. So I believe if you're in the lighter green section, you're going to be taking max damage, and in the darker green, will be taking less. I'm assuming the closer you are to the center, I think that's the same thing with KO's nade. You'll take more damage. The farther you go out, you'll take less and less. That makes the most sense to me. But if you're directly in the middle, it probably kills you, right? But yeah, so I don't think it does any damage to you while you're walking in. But I think the second it goes off, it goes off. If I'm wrong and it does damage the whole time, then it definitely plays as a true molly. But from what I'm seeing just in the video, that's not the case. And then one more thing that I just listened to the video and they enlightened me on because that's one thing I was wondering. Um, so for all of his abilities except Mosh Pit, you're able to actually pick it back up and reuse it. So in my opinion, I was like, man, if you could just clear a corner with Mosh Pit, and then pick it back up and even use it like 10 seconds later, like that would be ridiculously insane in my opinion. But luckily, that is not the case. Even though I'm gonna be a Gekko main myself. I don't want the characters to be too busted because then like people aren't gonna be having fun, and it won't be as satisfying when you make. But yeah, unfortunately, obviously that's not his signature ability. His signature ability is going to be Dizzy, which is going to be his flash, right? And it's not really a true flash because you can see around the corners, as you'll see in a second, right? Here we go. So and I mean, speed wise, it really is like a flash. My one question, and this will probably be something that I test out later on, is how fast is that shot from Dizzy travel? Is it instantaneous like a flash, or does it take time to kind of get to you? And like, how long after seeing you, especially at a distance, will Dizzy be able to launch things? So as I can see there, in this little part of the video right here, definitely does definitely he definitely stuns multiple people and like basically the same instant. It doesn't feel like it's one after the other. It's kind of like I feel like kind of like a normal flash, right? It's not that it hits one and not the other. Not that hits one then the other. It's would be interesting to see how long it would take depending on the distance for the flash to actually go off. And then the third ability, which I think is like definitely the fan favorite right now, Wingman, is going to be kind of like very comparable to Raze's Boombot, or some of us may call it the Roomba. Basically, it's the same function. I'm not sure if it bounces off of walls. I haven't seen it. I'm assuming maybe he just stops at the wall. It would make sense for him to bounce. Basically, instead of exploding and doing damage, Wingman is going to jump, clap, and concuss, which is pretty cool. Obviously, having too many damaging abilities in a tactical shooter can kind of be a little annoying. It's just but it's a concuss. Even though a concuss is super strong, it's just not raw damage. Like you can still hit a lucky shot when you're concussed and still have your HP, things like that. But just taking raw damage sometimes just doesn't feel too great. And for all of you people out there, people calling him Fred, Bob, man, if you don't get out of here, um, with Gekko being a Spanish character, I'm hoping he's Puerto Rican because that gives me even more reason to play the character. But gotta give his buddies Spanish names. So I don't care what none of y'all say. I'm calling him Gordo or Gordito. I don't know, man. That means like chunky, fat in Spanish, and I think it fits perfectly. It's just like Gordo go. And he's like, whoa, plant the bomb. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's my take on it. I think this character is hilarious. I'm about to show you that little clip right here. Look at him. Look at him go. Go, Gordo, go. You look at that. It doesn't obviously doesn't reveal the silver darts there, but like that is so cool, such a cool ability. And the fact that this ability can like plant and diffuse as well. Okay, so okay, one more thing too. It's a cone. Okay, wonder how far that reaches out. Also, and like I was saying, he can plant and or diffuse. One key thing that people should understand if you haven't seen the little like showcase tournament, or just haven't heard about it, he can be destroyed. Which means if you let him take the bomb out into the open and he does get eliminated before the bomb is able to be actually placed down, it will leave the bomb there. So, a lot of the times I feel like right now people are like, oh, it's not that good. He can get destroyed. But I feel like what people are not thinking about is obviously there are combinations that you can use, like I think it's called Cove. Basically harbors hardened smoke, which will give him time to get the bomb down. Especially if you don't throw it directly in the center, so people don't really know exactly where Gordo is. But in my opinion, though, is like imagine if you take a site, right? And let's say you even lose a person, right? The enemy team gets a kill, but we gain sight, right? With Wingman, my boy Gordo, you can actually deploy him and he can plant the bomb acting as your fifth player while you guys set up, right? And it's just the fact of being able to place him down and actively take space, which I think is very good. Especially in a one-on-one scenario, you can send him for a defuse, you can send him for a plant, and then unless he gives out a sound notification like I'm the one planting, like a little gurgle or something, you have to always play. You always have to play the situation like the bomb is getting planted, right? Sometimes you just gotta let it go, but at the same time, let's say time's running down, you might have to swing the angle and fight Gekko right away, or maybe take the gamble that maybe Gekko is the one that's planting because he still wants to use Gordo as a info tool and concuss whatever, right? That's one thing that I really like about Gekko right now is that I think that Gekko is going to kind of help keep this meta or make the meta. I'm not sure exactly what the meta is in right now, but into a more aggressive play style. Like yes, mind games are cool, and I think this will definitely bring out some mind games too. But I really do think this is gonna make people have to play more aggressive. Whether it be on the defensive or the offensive side, if they have a Gekko and the little dude's doing his thing, you're gonna have to respect it. Whether you're letting that plant go off or you're swinging because you know it could be either him or it can't. Right? It's one of those things where it's from other games I've seen it where having a ability as a that ability that acts as another teammate is very very strong, and I feel like people aren't like they're not understanding that. Like just having a sixth player, it's like imagine having a sixth player. Like yeah, they can't fight, they can't do this, they can't do that, but like 4 seconds to plant the bomb instead of having a player there planting it, you have an ability planting it, and you're all able to just take angles, set up right away, and or let's say you're taking site aggressively. There's still people on site. You can throw him on site to start that plant while actively still fighting, instead of having to worry that when you have that person planting, that's technically a person down because they don't have their gun out and they're not shooting, right? I think that ability is ridiculous. And then for the last ability, it's going to be Thrash. It's going to be his ultimate. So basically, it's like a Sky Dog on steroids. I'm not sure how long it lasts. I'm not sure how far it can go. But basically, instead of concussing, it's gonna silence. Basically, I don't know the word, but it's gonna silence you. That means you can't shoot, you can't knife, you can't use abilities, you can't nothing. And that's going to be absolutely insane. Whether you pop it real quick to check a corner or whatever, if you're getting caught by that, you're going to die. Basically, that ult is gonna be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Let's say to start around, you pop it, and it happens to be all five around the corner. Like, bro, you're getting a pentakill. I mean, depending on how long it lasts. And I know that's like oh, that won't happen. But you never know. Depending on how long that detain, that's what it's called, that detain lasts. Like, you can probably make some insane plays. And I mean, if I'm being honest, basically that's all the abilities things broken down right there. I could talk about other things like the way the character looks, the way the voice acting is, blah, 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 blah. I think Gekko is a really, really cool character, and I am going to play the heck out of Gekko. He's really cool. The abilities are really cool, and I think he's definitely going to be a staple in this meta. And I really hope he is, right? But with that being said, definitely you guys can comment down below and let me know what you guys think when it pertains to Gekko, his viability, things like that. Because obviously I love discussions and I would like to hear, maybe even from better players. But personally, with my experience, just looking at his kit, it looks hella strong. And in a lot of ways, I don't know how they can nerf, especially Wingman, to make it to where it's like, oh, that's fair, you know? Like, I think no matter what, that ability will be strong. Because they're not going to take away the ability for it to plant, you know? So it's like, if that's the, you know, and the only thing that I could see happening maybe is just increasing the time it takes to plant, as well as increasing the time it takes to diffuse or Wingman, which to me is totally okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a trade-off. You have a 6 teammate to plant, but you're also able to gain that space. And it's like, well, at that point, is it even worth it? Because the bomb's not getting down, so it would have just been fine if a person did it. But I don't know, right? Hey, man, and don't mind my hand. I had surgery, but hey, I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said, you got any comments or anything you would like to discuss about the character, definitely leave it down below. If you like my content, want to keep up to date with my channel, you can always subscribe so you never miss a video. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys hopefully in the next one. And I really can't wait for this character to come out and my hand to heal so I can be the #1 Gekko player in my heart, right? So I'm gonna see you guys next one.